Good morning and happy Wednesday. It's a hump day. It's a Trump day. To the ungovernables, the captain's crew, the LFA family, McGroy Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee. Big news out of here. Governor information. Big governor. We expected this news, but big news out of here. Live from Tennessee on, of course, rumble.com/LFA TV. Also over on X. Happy Wednesday. What day is it, Mike?
Hump day.
Hump day. Yeah. That's right. Big news out of the state of Tennessee. I'm sure everybody has seen it this morning that Marsha Blackburn, the senator from the great state of Tennessee, is running for governor. And, generally positive reactions. There are obviously people who are not the biggest fans of Marsha Blackburn. Fine. You don't have to be. I will say we're fairly new to Tennessee. However, she has a lot of influence here. And just look, if I was an outsider looking in or somebody who was peripherally maybe, kind of barely involved politically and didn't know much, I would say Blackburn is a shoo-in to be the next governor of Tennessee, which is not a bad thing. I think it's going to go the way, look, there are other people who are running for governor here, and I wish them the best of luck. I do think it's going to be very difficult to defeat somebody in a primary like Marsha Blackburn on the Republican side. That does not mean don't try. That does not mean run a spirited campaign. I hope the primary is clean, right? I hope we have a clean primary. I say that all the time before these primaries. Sometimes they're not very clean. But I would say that Marsha Blackburn is the odds-on favorite to be the next governor in the state of Tennessee, which will leave a wide open vacancy. She won her seat in the Senate in 2024. She won a new 6-year term. So there's going to be a wide open vacancy that will be filled by appointment in the Senate if Marsha Blackburn wins. And a lot of people are suggesting that she will, that Tim Burchett be the next senator out of the great state of Tennessee. I have thought for a while that the future Tennessee senators will look like a tag team of Tim Burchett and Andy Ogles. Ogles may be a little too new in Congress to get the nod before Burchett. Burchett, a little, been in there for a little longer. But I would be thrilled, and I think everybody in Tennessee would be thrilled if Tim Burchett would be named the next senator out of Tennessee. Could you imagine good old boy Tim Burchett and good old boy John Kennedy going back and forth in the Senate? I got my ribs kicked open by a daggum horse. And then John Kennedy, he kicked that one harder than, I don't know who kicks things, but, that's than a hair and a biscuit.
John Cena.
John Cena. So there you have, there's the news out of Tennessee. Again, I've heard complaints about Blackburn. I've heard good things about Blackburn. We've met Marsha Blackburn. She was very nice to us. Her husband was very nice to us. Donald Trump is a big fan of hers. Other friends of mine who I know are close to Marsha Blackburn are big fans of hers. Nobody is ever going to be a perfect candidate. I think that's one of the problems that people have is they're always looking for a perfect candidate, right? Like I remember when Lee Zeldin was running for governor and he took a picture with Andrew Cuomo signing a bill that would make fishing licenses saltwater fishing licenses free for commercial fishermen, which is a good thing because it helps people run their businesses at lower costs. He took a picture with Cuomo while he was signing that bill, and they were like, you can't be in pictures with Cuomo. That's disqualifying. And I was like, do you know why the picture was taken? Do you know what was being signed? And so we're never going to find a perfect candidate. It doesn't exist. Everybody, there's going to be some segment of people that has a problem with everyone. There are people who have had a problem with Trump, okay? Do I think Marsha Blackburn is going to be a good governor when she wins? Because I think she's going to win. I think she'll be fine. I think she's done a decent job in the Senate, and I think she'll be fine. I think she'll be a good governor here in the state of Tennessee. Look, I'm not making an endorsement yet, okay, in terms of who's going to run. There's still a whole lot more that has to go on. But I will say this. Marsha Blackburn is the clear and present odds-on favorite to be the next governor in the state of Tennessee. So whether you like that or not, that's just the way this is here. Okay. So, that doesn't mean if you're running another campaign to immediately drop out and stop trying. By all means, run a spirited campaign. Primaries make the party better. Maybe there's an item that you believe is missing from the Blackburn platform, and a candidate in the primary is running to, essentially represent those people. I don't know what that item may be, but whatever it might be. Kind of like how Donald Trump absorbed the Make America Healthy Again movement after him and RFK came to an agreement, which a lot of people thought would never happen. So that's the point of primaries, and I think in this case, over the course of the next, 15 months, because the election is next year and Bill Lee can't run. I think that's what you have to look for. But I do believe that Marsha Blackburn is going to be the next governor in the state of Tennessee, whether you like it or not. She is the odds-on favorite. Again, that doesn't mean stop trying. Hopefully the primary here is clean. I have met another gubernatorial candidate, John Rose. Great guy. Very good guy. I think he has a good vision. Again, I hope the primary between him and anybody else that winds up running is a clean primary. Waiting to see who else enters the race, and then we'll go from there. But Marsha Blackburn has decided that she is going to run.
And Bad Moon thinks you should be the Speaker of the House.
Speaker of what house?
I don't know. It's Bad Moon, so you never know.
I don't want to be the Speaker of, certainly not the Speaker of the House in D.C. I don't really want to do much here in Nashville because I'd get myself in trouble. No, elected office. I appreciate you, Bad Moon. You're the mayor. You're the one with the the elected office status here. Not me. Can't do it. I will not be doing that. Okay. All right. We'll get to that. I just wanted to start off with that because obviously it was big news this morning. We will get to a whole bunch. Donald Trump wants to federalize Washington, D.C. Did you hear about Big Balls, Brennan?
Yeah, he got beat up.
He got beat up. Did you hear why? He was defending a woman from like 8 people who were trying to carjack her. And this kid got, beat up. But a lot of people wouldn't do what he did. So I think Donald Trump should award Big Balls or maybe award Big Balls' balls, the Presidential Medal of Freedom or Honor or whatever it is. The highest civilian award. What is it that he gave Rush Limbaugh? I think it's the Medal of Freedom. Award, because the Medal of Honor is, I think, only for military members. Award Big Balls that he stepped in and defended a woman. Donald Trump is now calling to federalize Washington, D.C., bring it under federal control because it's a mess. And the nation's capital should reflect, the greatest nation in the world, not a third world country. And I'll tell you, D.C. is a mess. You know it. You guys been there recently. It's a mess. Total mess. Looks like a third world country. So Trump is calling to federalize D.C. We've got an update on Russiagate, Spygate. More documents headed to the grand jury. We've got an update with regards to Adam Schiff. He may or may not be in some trouble. An update in Texas with Ken Paxton, redistricting. We've got an update from Jabba the Hutt in Illinois. The most gerrymandered state in the country. These Democrats are really digging themselves a big hole. The governor of Massachusetts was like, oh yeah, we'll just redraw our maps then. Would you like to guess how many Republican congressmen or congresswomen come from Massachusetts?
1.
0.
Oh, okay.
So what are you going to do? You're going to redraw the map and give us less than 0? Idiot. And there's not 0% of the people in Massachusetts who vote Republican. So she wants to come out and talk about how, we'll just redraw our maps. Have at it. Have at it. We're not losing anything in Massachusetts. Go ahead, redraw your maps. We're going to go from 0 to 0 again. Ooh, big move. Update out of Alabama. We are going to go a little bit down the Epstein road today. And we will judge the behavior of everybody who is listening on whether or not we do Epstein in the future. Because when we start getting, when people start talking about, don't That's it. Then you lose Epstein privileges for a week.
They start talking about what?
When Donald Trump is covering for pedophiles. That's my new thing. I'm treating everyone who does that like children. If you say that, we don't do Epstein for a week. That's the new thing. Like on social media, the minute people start doing that, you lose Epstein privileges for a week, or you get blocked. Recently, I've just been like, okay,
I love blocking.
So yeah,
The best.
I have had no problem blocking people. It's been to the listen. We went to the DMV for a half hour on Monday. I couldn't deal with it. So ever since then, I've been on a blocking spree on X. So just tread lightly. That's all I'm saying. And an update out of Indiana. There's another Alligator Alcatraz coming. Now, obviously, there's no alligators in Indiana, but a very similar facility to Alligator Alcatraz in Indiana. All right, let's get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. OFPFarms.com. Explore the wonderful quality of Faith Farm and Freedom products with a special limited time 15% discount on your entire purchase. Look here, the We the People soap. Oh, it is so good. It smells great. It smells like freedom. Take a look at the lineup from OFP Farms, America's go-to soap company, famous for natural ingredients, the skin-loving perks of tallow and goat milk, and a big heart for farm-to-family skincare. Whether you're looking for gentle skincare or thoughtful gifts, these products bring together expert care and good values to make your daily routine even better. Do not miss this chance to enjoy premium products that support your health and ethical choices for the entire family. OFP Farms is the small family farm with big love. Small family farm with big love. OFPFarms.com. You can get 15% off of everything on the website right now. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN. That's OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean. I am rocking a cherry pie Goat Kisses lip balm right now. Shing, On Guard, Touche. This is it right here. This is not something that I would ever throw on the court of a WNBA game. That's the newest trend now. Not to throw lip balms, but to throw something else. OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean, 15% off of the best balm. The lip balm is the bomb in the game. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN. OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean. I want to give you the upgrade of the century, by the way. We went from a president who couldn't answer questions coherently now to a president, did you see this yesterday, who is answering questions from the roof of the White House. This was hilarious yesterday. Watch.
Mr. President, what do you want to build? What are you trying to build? Sir, you approve? You say more missiles? Are you building missiles?
Pew, pew.
What? Come on, Dad.
Might be missiles.
Did you say missiles?
Donald Trump joking around saying he's going to build nuclear missiles on the roof of the White House. Hilarious. Yeah, Joe Biden, who wouldn't have been able to make it up there, they would never let him on the roof. He'd fall off. And then there was somebody who, Olivia Giuliani, a big girl, who they're trying to use to court the young male vote with the DNC. She was like, oh, you have to be in some sort of cult to think it's groundbreaking that the president's on the roof. So people were like, groundbreaking, huh?
She's that,
You would
ugly
know.
fat thing.
Yeah, that's Jabba.
Yeah.
She would know about groundbreaking.
Oh.
I replied.
Oh, so sorry.
I replied to her and said, well, if you went on the roof, more than the ground would break, that's for sure.
She has to wake up in the morning and take a step.
Kaboom. She's got Han Solo. She's got Han Solo on her wall. Kaboom. You ever seen the movie Jurassic Park when like they're watching the cup in the Jeep and they've seen like the water trembling and they're like, that's an impact show. That's Olivia Giuliani when she wakes up in the morning.
And it's funny because I genuinely don't care what someone looks like unless I don't like that specific person. And then it's fair game.
Yeah. It's Kojima! That's Olivia Giuliani. Okay. Let's get to a word from our friends over at Patriot Mobile. Then we'll talk about big balls, right? Big balls over in Washington, D.C. You've got a lot of choices for cell phone service with new ones popping up all the time, right? This is Patriot Mobile, America's #1, only real Christian conservative wireless provider. Here is the truth about the cell phone situation in the United States. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that is Patriot Mobile. The good news is you can switch to Patriot Mobile today without sacrificing quality or service. If you're worried about coverage, don't be. Patriot Mobile uses all 3 major U.S. networks. If you've got service in this country today, you will have good or better coverage with Patriot Mobile. Think switching is a hassle? It's not. You can keep your number, you can keep your phone, or you can upgrade. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based support team will get you activated in minutes. 100% U.S.-based. Man, that's a game changer in and of itself. Not to mention the service, the fact that you can upgrade everything. They've got unlimited data plans as well. If you're stuck in a contract or you owe money on your device, they've got a way to help you with that too. Patriot Mobile has the contract buyout program as well. This is how we win, ladies and gentlemen, by aligning our spending with our values. Every dollar we spend matters, and where we spend it matters. Go to patriotmobile.com/Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, or call 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, to get a month of free service. patriotmobile.com/Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H. Make the switch today. patriotmobile.com/F-A-R-A-S-H. Okay, let's get into this. Trump talking about federalizing Washington, D.C., threatening to federalize D.C. over the out-of-control crime. And it's been going on longer than, the attack on Big Balls, right? But this crime kind of set it over the edge. It even got Elon Musk to say he supports federalizing D.C., right? I guess he's going to try and come back around. Get those guys working together again for 5 minutes, and then they'll have another falling out. Quote, crime in Washington, D.C. is totally out of control. Local, quote-unquote, youths and gang members some only 14, 15, and 16 years old are randomly attacking, mugging, maiming, and shooting innocent civilians at the same time knowing that they will almost be immediately released. They are not afraid of law enforcement because they know nothing ever happens to them, but it is going to happen now. The law in D.C. must be changed to prosecute these quote-unquote minors as adults and lock them up for a long time, starting at age 14. The most recent victim was beaten mercilessly by local thugs. Washington, D.C. must be safe, clean, and beautiful for all Americans, and importantly, for the world to see. If D.C. doesn't get its act together, and quickly, we will have no choice but to take federal control of the city and run this city how it should be run and put criminals on notice that they're not going to get away with it anymore. Perhaps it should have been done a long time ago. Then this incredible young man and so many others would not have had to go through the horrors of violent crime. If this continues, I am going to exert my powers and federalize this city. Make America great again, as he said over on Truth Social. This is a picture of Edward Corestein, otherwise known as Big Balls. He's from DOGE. I think he works for the Social Security Administration now. This is what happened to him. I mean, he was beat into a pulp because he stepped in to help women who were being carjacked, which says a lot about Ed Corestein. And remember the media? They said, oh, you're going to give your information to a guy like this, and they made him out to be the worst guy in the world. Meanwhile, here he is, like, showing you that chivalry isn't dead, right? He was beaten by 8 black, I don't care. The media cares if it was the other way around. If 8 white people jumped a black dude, they would say, it's the Klan, right? That's what the media would say. It's the Klan. It's white supremacy. He's alive and well. Okay, well, it was 8 black people beating up Edward Corestein after he stopped to defend a woman who was being assaulted by the gang in D.C. the other night. By the way, there's a term out there. I've tried to stay away from it because I don't necessarily like the way people use it. But I think this is worth saying now. I like polling. I like data, the whole 9 yards. They're not perfect either, but we get it, okay? About, I don't want to say like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, during the Biden thing, well, DEI, all that, 63% of Americans polled said that, blacks were treated unfairly in this country. That number is now down to 45%. There is a term being thrown around. It should be 0% because they're not treated unfairly, but that's the trend is your friend. There is a term being thrown around right now called black fatigue. Have you heard this?
Yep.
Yeah.
And brown fatigue.
Brown fatigue, and this is not unique, right? So like when George W. Bush had served his 2 terms and McCain was running, people said the country had Bush fatigue, which helped Barack Obama. So it's not a new thing. But there's a term going around called black fatigue. I don't like the term. I don't like the way it sounds. It's being used to stoke more division than it is to talk about data. But in this case, okay, I'm pretty sure people are tired of the double standard, okay? I don't want to see black people being persecuted unfairly.
No.
I don't want to see white people being persecuted unfairly. What did I say yesterday when I talked about how do we win? We win when the system is fair. Everybody wins when the system is fair. The best of the best win when the system is fair. And right now, the system is not fair. Okay? Whether it's the media, the courts, etc. Police officers are afraid to handle minorities because they're afraid of getting fired. All right. I mean, the media will not report on a story accurately with when a kid like Big Balls Edward Corstein gets beat up by 8 black people. But if this was Big Balls and 8 of his friends beating up a black guy, it would be all over the place. MSNBC, CNN, Joy Reid would be doing rants and tirades on TikTok. You'd be getting Don Lemon and Van Jones and all of these people, that are going to come out, Jessica Tarlov and all of them. They're going to, oh, here we go. It's the racial element of MAGA. It's that radical racist element, white supremacist element of MAGA that has taken control of this because we have a problem to diagnose and the disease. You would see all of that coming out. The Klan and Nazis and white supremacy and radical right wing, yada, 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 yada. You hear nothing about this story on the mainstream media right now, other than them probably whining about, oh, Donald Trump wants to federalize DC. He's a dictator. The reason why he wants to federalize DC is because this kid, Edward Corstein, never should have even been in the position to have to defend a woman from being carjacked by 8 thugs on the street, because that's what they are. They're thugs, black, white, yellow, brown, or from outer space. If you're violently breaking the law in this country, you're a thug, period. You want to say, oh, it's racist to use the term thug. No, thug is not a racist word. Thug literally means violent criminal. That's it. Not a black violent criminal, white violent criminal, Asian violent criminal, Spanish violent criminal, space alien violent criminal. Thug means violent criminal. That's it. Very simple, okay? These 8 people who were carjacking and taking advantage of a woman and trying to steal her vehicle are thugs. Edward Corstein stepped in to ward off the thugs to defend this woman. He was then beaten by said thugs. That shouldn't have happened. In a place where law and order is established and respected, that doesn't happen as frequently as it would happen in a place where law and order is ignored and not respected. And Washington, D.C. is a place where law and order is ignored and not respected. I have no problem with Donald Trump looking at this jurisdiction, by the way, where he lives right now, and saying, this is out of control. World leaders who are going to come here are going to see it. It's going to make us look bad. It's going to make the whole place unsafe for anybody who wants to tour the nation's capital. I want to fix it because nobody else will. WUSA 9 has reported that crime in D.C. has quote unquote dropped in 2025. However, the Democrats' soft on crime policies for minors are creating huge problems. The crime numbers will drop with the lack of convictions, by the way. Remember when AOC said, well, if you make crossing the border, if it wasn't illegal, it wouldn't be a crime? Duh, right? Like if you take away border laws, there are no illegal immigrants. Well, yes, because you're now removing the law that makes their immigration illegal, right? This is what the Democrats have done in places like New York and Chicago and Atlanta and Seattle and Los Angeles. This cashless bail, this watering down of the criminal code, right? This soft on crime approach has resulted in less crime being recorded. In other words, less conviction. So it looks like less crime is happening. No, more crime is happening. Less crime is being held accountable. That's the problem. That's the problem. And specifically in Washington, D.C., they've got a juvenile crime problem. Juveniles are now disproportionately involved in carjackings and robbery. These are kids, 15 years old, stealing vehicles. They're not even old enough to drive, and they're stealing people's cars. Last month, a curfew was enforced to curb juvenile crime, but D.C. Metro reports that minors under the age of 18 are responsible for nearly 50% of carjackings in D.C. 50%. Half of the carjackings are people who can't drive. This is a problem. And they're not keeping the cars. What do you think they're doing with them? They're bringing them back to whoever is paying them to steal the car because they're not doing it for free. What do you think? These 15-year-olds are sneaking out of the home and coming back with a car, and their parents are like, hey, nice car, Junior. Where'd you get that from? I stole it. Nice job. High five.
Well, see, it's funny because you said parents like it's plural. Usually these are
Fatherless homes.
But which is a big part of the problem.
The issue here is these are children who they have no other opportunity. They've got nothing but to join these are organized criminal rings.
Well, that's not true. If they were well-behaved citizens, they would have plenty of opportunities.
But they don't. My point is there's not enough there in D.C. It's a breeding ground. It's a petri dish for violence and crime. It's the thing to do there. They're not being guided the right way, and they're being shown, hey, the path of least resistance isn't to go play football in your high school and have a good time on the field. There's no money in that. Go join an organized street gang and steal a couple cars a week. D.C. absolutely needs to be federalized. Absolutely needs to be federalized. Because if you don't, and you continue down this path, it's only going to get worse. And if what Donald Trump is saying, that these juveniles are not being held accountable, so you can steal a car at 14 and steal another one at 15, steal another one at 16, you've got no problem because they're not going to do anything to you because you're a kid. But you start trying them as adults, now you've got a little bit more of a deterrent. Now you actually have to enforce the crime. I say this Big Balls guy, we used to joke that he's an American hero because his name was Big Balls, whatever. He was working in DOGE, doing a good job. But I honestly think this kid should get an award for what he did. I absolutely think he should get an award for what he did. Because there's not a lot of people who would do what he did. There's not a lot of people that would do what he did. He ought to be proud of himself. His parents ought to be proud. That's a good guy.
This might be a silly question.
Mm-hmm.
Does federalize just mean to like bring more police in? Like what does that
federalizing
mean?
means bringing under the power of the federal government. So like when Donald Trump federalized the National Guard in Los Angeles, the National Guard in all 50 states are under the authority of the states. When they're federalized, they come under the authority of the federal government. Washington, D.C. is not a state.
Right.
Okay? So Washington, D.C. is essentially run independently. I don't know the exact term of how you would refer. It's a District of Columbia. Yeah. It has its own, it's sovereign. It has its own government.
Which is
it has a mayor. It has all this. But if it's federalized, essentially the federal government would run Washington, D.C. So like the National Guard in Los Angeles normally would be under the authority, would take its direction from Gavin Newsom. When it was federalized, it then took its direction from the federal government, the executive branch, the president of the United States. So when you federalize a place, you've then brought it under the authority of the federal government, not the local or municipal government that exists there. And the municipal government in this case, Washington, D.C., is not doing a good enough job to keep the place safe. Donald Trump said, okay, well, if you're not going to do this job, then we will federalize it, i.e. bring it under the authority of the federal government. And we will enforce the rules, and we will enforce the law, and we will hold people accountable, and we will clean it up if you're not going to clean it up. And apparently he's got the authority to do so. Okay. So I would say do it. Just, okay, you made the threat, put them on notice. The next time something like this happens, it's like, okay, I told you this was going to happen. It's done. And let Marco Rubio be the new mayor of D.C. because he does everything else anyway. Like Marco Rubio's USAID. He's the State Department guy, National Security Advisor. He was almost the Pope. Like Marco Rubio will do everything. Just give it to him. See what happens. I want to get into an update from Tulsi Gabbard here, by the way, on Spygate. I got numbers about that on the other side of the break. Adam Schiff information as well. Ken Paxton, what's going on in Texas, the story out of Alabama, a little bit about Epstein, and, of course, Indiana, a cool story out of Indiana. First, here's Tulsi Gabbard. She gives an update on the grand jury. I've already saw people doing that. Well, where are the arrests? The grand jury has been in place for 5 freaking minutes. You don't get an indictment in 5 minutes. Guys, what expectations do you have? I swear, people who are doing that, okay, they saw the evidence. Where's the arrest? They definitely microwaved their steak. The grand jury has been impaneled for a day. A day. It took the Biden administration 2 years to indict Donald Trump and the high-profile cases that they got. We got to be a little realistic here. I get it. We want things to happen. Let this play out. I'm very, very confident that we're going to get indictments out of this case. Very confident. You don't believe me? Axios is freaking out this morning. This is the watershed moment of MAGA retribution. You're damn right it is. You're damn right it is. Panic. You're showing your hands. Go ahead and panic. Here's Tulsi Gabbard with an update, by the way, on the grand jury yesterday with, I believe, Laura Ingraham. Listen to this.
Mr. Gabbard, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Laura.
There's a report tonight from the Federalist that the DOJ is actually asking you for more documents in its grand jury probe. Is that true? And what are they asking for now?
That is true, Laura, and I just want to point out how important this is, that Attorney General Pam Bondi, through the Department of Justice, is taking this necessary first step toward accountability, which is essential for the American people to begin to have any kind of trust in the integrity of our democratic republic. I met with the Department of Justice prosecutors today, and yes, they are committed to leaving no stone unturned as they conduct this grand jury investigation and find the truth. Obviously, we've already handed over the documents that we've declassified and released publicly over the last few weeks. They have more questions, and they're going to be really taking a deep dive into this, again, looking everywhere to find the truth and conduct this very serious investigation.
You heard the media reaction, and a lot of these same people.
And I actually watched this live when this happened yesterday. Have you noticed again what word members of the administration have stopped using regarding Spygate and Russiagate? By the way, this is how you should conduct. Pam Bondi should be taking notes. Tulsi Gabbard declassified a bunch of information, right? She declassified a bunch of information. And then she went on the media to talk about that information. And she said while she was in these interviews, we're going to give you more information. And then the next day, more information came out. And then a grand jury was impaneled. And now we're, presenting evidence to them in pursuit of indictments. That's how you do it. PYE. Winky's got it in the chat. Yes. The word that the word that the administration and the officials have stopped using is treason. We told you this weeks ago. It does not meet the legal standards of treason. I am very happy to see them doing this because, again, this would be another Pam Bondi moment of over-promising. People hear treason. They hear no statute of limitations. The punishment for treason, life in prison or death, serious consequences. We are now hearing the C word, right? Conspiracy. That's what took place here. Now, whether it's just 18 U.S.C. Section 371, conspiracy to defraud, or it's seditious conspiracy, remains to be seen. But I think charges are coming. There's enough there. Okay. One more quick break. I want to talk to you about our friends over at Silent. That's SLNT.com. SLNT.com. It's all about privacy, ladies and gentlemen. You're being tracked everywhere you go. You know that, right? Everywhere you go, you're being tracked. No matter what you do, unless you use these products from Silent, these Faraday products, which prevent that. Let's face it, your phone is a tracking device. We know that. I know that. Everyone knows that. It's got your location no matter where you're on. Cell towers, the location enabled. The background apps will use your location. Sometimes you won't even know about it. Your phone is a tracking device. Government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, they are all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint. And they don't ask. They just take it. We know that. That is why a company like Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, like cellular signals, Wi-Fi signals, Bluetooth signals, GPS signals, RFID signals, and NFC, near-field communication signals. No signal simply means no tracking, no remote access, no breadcrumbs. It's the same tech that is used by special ops teams worldwide, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And it is now available to you to protect your family, to protect your freedom, and to hide your digital footprint. Drop your phone in a silent Faraday sleeve, and it's off the grid. Completely silent. Invisible to the outside world. How cool is that? From backpacks to sleeves to crossbodies to pants, Silence patented tech gives you control of your privacy. Visit slnt.com/Sean to save 15% off and get free shipping on qualifying orders. That is silent.com/Sean, SHAWN. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Silent, slnt.com/Sean. Silence the chaos. That's silent, slnt.com/Sean, SHAWN, silent.com/SHAWN. All right? All right? Adam Schiff. Criminal investigation, you say? Sounds like it. Adam Schiff is under federal investigation for mortgage fraud. Maybe he will share a cell with Sasquatch. There we go. Do not feed the Sasquatch. Sasquatch is big enough as, look at this, Letitia James press conference. Nobody is above the law. Sasquatch is also under investigation for mortgage fraud, but it broke yesterday that Adam Schiff is under criminal investigation for mortgage fraud.
Tonight, an update on an Ingram Angle exclusive.
Laura Ingram was busy yesterday.
Source telling the Angle that a criminal investigation of Adam Schiff is underway, conducted by U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland for possible charges involving mortgage fraud. Now, this follows the story we broke last month when the Federal Housing Finance Agency sent a criminal referral to the DOJ alleging that Schiff, in multiple instances, falsified bank documents and property records to acquire more favorable loan terms. In a 2011 affidavit signed by the then California congressman, he certified that a property in Montgomery County, Maryland, is his primary residence. He also owns a condo in Burbank, California, which he's also claimed is his primary residence, and said so in 2023 during his campaign for Senate.
I think just about every member of Congress has a residence in their state and a residence back in D.C. since we're in session much of the week. And people make a family decision where they're going to have their kids. But our principal residence, our primary residence is in California. It always has been and always will be.
Ruh-roh. Well, Senator Schiff has not responded to us about these allegations.
Of course he hasn't. He's a pencil neck. Let me tell you something. Is Adam Schiff above the law? Does anybody know? Let me consult with. That is that cock-a-doodle-doo is brought to you by nobody's above the law. That's what that means. That's what that means. For those of you who are new, they're like, why is there a rooster on the screen? That is the police commissioner. That is our nobody, because when the Democrats shout it sounds like they're being roosters. Okay, cock-a-doodle-doo.
Cock-a-doodle, don't you dare.
Cock-a-doodle, don't you dare. Okay, that's it. Cock-a-doodle, don't even try it today. That's it. Okay? There it is. Mexadon'ts. Right, so there it is. All right, Adam Schiff under federal. That's all I got on that. Whatever. If he did commit mortgage fraud, he should face the consequences. Yeah. And if it carries jail time, I mean, he's a Democrat. He's into that kind of thing, you know? Put him in there. And
you're going to yodel today on the show.
You know, Adam Schiff's rear end will in jail. It'll just start sucking things up, right? That's it. You know, he's into that type of thing. I heard well, we don't need to go there. Okay, Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is pursuing quo warranto rulings from the Texas judicial branch. So if you remember on Monday, we talked about what was going to happen in Texas. Ken Paxton is now saying that he is going to pursue, and this is a good move by Paxton. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton will ask a judge to vacate the seats of Democrat lawmakers who fled the state over the redistricting vote. Redistricting, which, by the way, now is literally Hitler. Did you know that? That's the newest thing to literally be Hitler. Redistricting. It's the Nazi. It's the Holocaust. I'm not joking. But, if redistricting is literally the Holocaust, as Democrats have gone out and said, if redistricting is the newest literally Hitler, what does that make J.B. Pritzker? Jabba the Nazi? Like, what does that make him? I'm not joking. This is Don Lemon with some Democrat representative talking about redistricting here. Listen to this.
And then integration happened and everybody thought they accept us. They don't.
Yolanda Jones.
They're showing us who they are. we should believe them. And we better have the courage to stand up. Otherwise, we will fall for anything. And in this country, we will be defeated, deported. I mean, we will lose all of our rights. And if you think it can't happen, it can. And I will liken this to the Holocaust. People are like, well, how did the Holocaust happen? How was somebody in a position to kill all them people? Well, good people remain silent. Or good people.
There's Don Lemon. You will liken redistricting to the Holocaust. Okay. Can you show me where the millions of people are being killed and gassed to death and rounded up and put in concentration camps to die a slow and agonizing death? And by the way, forced labor. Like, can you show me what you're redrawing a freaking map, lady? Jolanda Jones. Oh my God. She's out there. It's like the Holocaust, man. The Holocaust. You know, why is it every time there's something the Democrats don't like, it's literally Hitler? If they order a steak and it comes out too well done at a steakhouse, they're like, this steak is literally Hitler, man. It's gross. It's like the Holocaust. You're forcing me to eat food I don't like. I'm like a Jew in Auschwitz. That's what these Democrats are doing. It's literally, I will liken
double
this.
speak, though, because then they say, oh, well, free Palestine.
Yeah, but I will liken this redistricting fight to the Holocaust. How could you liken drawing a map to the Holocaust? How? Jolanda Jones. Okay, so here's where Democrats are, by the way. Gerrymandering is bad. This is their stance. But they're hiding out in one of the most gerrymandered states in the country. Illinois' congressional map is a mess. Like it is let me see if I can find, it is an absolute mess. And by the way, here's Jabba the Gov, right? Governor J.B. Jiggly Belly Pritzker giving an update on the redistricting fight as well. His state is redistricted worse than anybody's state in the country. Watch this.
There are 3 Republicans in the state delegation here in Illinois.
Solo!
You can't undo what is happening in Texas if that is successful with the 5 Republicans that would be added there. What's the extent of the pushback that you could have here in Illinois on what's happening in Texas?
Look, number one, we're very happy to host these heroes and stand up with them and for them. Here in the state of Illinois, it is possible to redistrict. It's not something that I want to do. It's not something that any of us want to have to do. We're hoping that this will be successful, that the fact that there's no quorum in Texas will be successful. But once again, we're fighting for democracy. There are no rules anymore, apparently. And so we're going to have to play by the set of rules that are being set out in front of us, which, frankly, none of us believes is the right way to operate. And what Congressman Green said is right. This is unconstitutional. This is about standing up for people's voting rights and standing up for black and brown people who are going to be.
There we go. There it is. Okay. Here it is. Of course, it's a race thing. Has to be a race thing. Can't be anything else. Always got to be all black and brown people. Have you ever seen Illinois' congressional map? Has anybody seen it? It's been very popular. How many Republican versus Democrat districts, congressional districts, are in Illinois? Districts are in Illinois. Let's do a real-time fact check. Okay? Because this is Illinois' congressional map. Okay? As a Democrats, there are 17 seats. 17 seats.
Okay.
In the state of Illinois.
Okay.
Democrats hold 14 of them. Would you like to see how they are drawn? Look at this sorry example of a map. Look at this map. So J.B. Pritzker, the governor of this state that you see on your screen, this is his state, J.B. Okay? The governor of this state right here is talking about how Texas is a threat to the democracy because of gerrymandering. Here's one Republican district down at the bottom. Here's 2. This is not 2 districts. This is one district that goes all the way around, but they carved out a nice little Democrat sliver right there. You see this? Here's the 3rd Republican congressional district. All this up here. And they carved out a nice little Democrat thing right there. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 huge districts. within this blue area right here, you've got 12 districts drawn. Look at all these. Look at this. This is spaghetti. This is like if someone just had a seizure drawing a map.
It's Justin Timberlake's hair from NSYNC.
Look at this. It looks like Thomas Massey's hair. You're going to tell me that redistricting is a threat to democracy when your state looks like that? Are you serious? Well, we're going to redraw them. Have at it. Redraw the maps all you want. How could it get any worse than this? The governor of Massachusetts, well, we're going to redraw our maps. Republicans don't hold a seat in your state. Have a blast. So Democrats in Texas are like, we must not allow the second Holocaust to happen in Texas when they redraw the maps. And you flee to this place to make your stand. Even Chuck Todd was like, listen, if you're going to flee to a state, why would you flee to Illinois? Notorious for being a disaster. So here's what Ken Paxton has done. Ken Paxton is pursuing quo warranto, all right, which is that ability of the courts to vacate these seats. He basically, and this is the right way to do it, he's giving them until Friday to show up, and then he's going to pursue vacating their seats. It may or may not work, but he's giving them until Friday to show up, and then we'll pursue vacating their seats on the grounds of abandonment if they don't show up on Friday. Issuing this letter basically gives Ken Paxton the standing in court to say, look, we told them if they don't do it, we're going to pursue this. They ignored our warning. This is not blindsided. We said if you do not show up, we're going to consider this abandonment, and we're going to let the courts decide on what's going on. It may be successful, it may not. But yesterday, Ken Paxton announced that he will seek judicial rulings declaring that the Texas House Democrats who fled the state and refused to return by the Speaker's deadline, August 8th, which is Friday. 8-8. Uh-oh! They want the people coming back on August 8th. You know why? Frank Fugazi, right? 8-8. What's 8-8? Where's the Bongino guys and gals in the chat? Why would they demand these people come back on 8-8? Because it's the end of the work week. Nope, there has to be something more. 8-8. Well, you know, H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. Holy moly. Can you believe that, Watson? 8 is it's 2 8s. So it's HH. And that stands for Heil Hitler. Oh my gosh. It's literally the Holocaust. So the deadline is 8-8, Frank Fugazi Day. The Speaker's deadline. If they don't come back, their seats will be declared vacant, or would be, the case is going to be made that they've abandoned their seats. If lawmakers do not return by the deadline, Paxton plans to file quo warranto petitions, which we talked about on Monday. That's the only way that these seats can be vacated. And it has never happened. They have never vacated a seat in the state of Texas, a state representative seat. They've done this in local seats and whatnot to fix electoral issues, but they've never done this before. So there's no precedent there. That's why the letter is important, to give them warning. These are legal actions that challenge whether an office holder has forfeited their position to remove them from office and trigger special elections. Paxton's office reinforces that the authority to bring such quo warranto cases rests with the Attorney General, and he has asked the Texas Supreme Court not to dismiss the governor's initial petition until after the Speaker's deadline. So you have that development in Texas, and this is all he can do, okay? This is all he can do. They can't just wave a magic wand and say, these seats are open. Abracadabra, alakazam. They can't just do that. This is the process they have to follow. We told you this on Monday, that this is the process they have to follow should they choose to follow it. Okay? Quo warranto petitions. And that is what Ken Paxton is doing here. Okay. We're going to do a quick break. And then I want to tell you about this case in Alabama and the Epstein subpoena-rama, of course. Again, what can we expect from it? I don't know, but it's all they can do. First, a word from our friends over at mypatriotsupply.com. That is mypatriotsupply.com. patreon.com/ungoverned. This summer is not just hot. It's been real hot. Oh, my God. Like, even when it's cold, it's hot. It's historic. Flash flood warnings are at a 40-year high, and it's not slowing down. Towns are underwater. Roads are being washed out. And in every crisis zone, the same scene's happening. Crowds are standing in line, waiting for bottled water, waiting for food, waiting for someone to show up and save them. Waiting, telling you help is on the way. But what if help isn't on the way? What if help takes days? What if it doesn't come at all? You think the system's built to protect you? It's not. They can barely handle one emergency, let alone dozens. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to be the one caught empty-handed. Right now, My Patriot Supply is offering you the opportunity to not be caught empty-handed. They're giving away 4 free weeks of emergency food, 2,000 calories a day, 25-year shelf life. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. When you buy the 3-month emergency food supply with that 25-year shelf life, 2,000 calories a day, you will get a free month of food. That's 4 months. That is a third of the year covered. Right there, mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. That's mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. 3-month emergency food kit comes with now a free month, 4 free weeks of emergency food with that 25-year shelf life at mypatriotsupply.com. We've got an update end of the show. Speak like this. Weather on the 4s. There may be a hurricane coming to Florida.
Oh.
Late August. We'll get to that in a second. mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Prepare now, because you can't prepare later. Alabama. Oh, sweet home. Remember this case? This sex trafficking case we talked about last week, where these children were hidden in a storm bunker and were abused, and the parents were like selling and trafficking access to their children. One of these, now he's not an illegal alien, so I don't want you to get it confused here. He is a U.S. citizen, this guy. The Department of Homeland Security, though, has determined and confirmed his membership in the Sureños gang. And the point that I want to make about this is that while this guy might not be an illegal alien, how many other illegal aliens who do belong to this gang that are actively engaged in sex trafficking minors are running around this country? So this guy is a member of the Sureños gang. Andres Trejo Velasquez, 29 years old, has been charged with 5 counts of rape, 7 counts of sodomy, 6 counts of human trafficking, and 4 counts of kidnapping, per the Department of Homeland Security. They helped local authorities arrest one of the suspects uncovered in the horrifying Alabama child sex trafficking ring, Sureños gang member Andres Trejo Velasquez. What happened? The Department of Homeland Security government account posted online confirming his membership in the gang, which makes much of its money from human trafficking. What happened?
The name.
Oh, Andres Trejo Velasquez?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's it.
By the way, Hannah's in the chat. Hello.
Hello, Hannah, our adopted daughter.
We love Hannah.
There she is.
Adora.
She does a fantastic job. She was just on a motorcycle recently.
She is so cool.
She is a cool person.
Like, that's cool.
We got to drive back and forth to the Ark with Hannah. And it's a lot of stories, a lot of good things. Hannah's doing big things. Big things down there. All right. Epstein case, James Comer, the subpoena-rama, right? James Comer is subpoenaing everybody. The Clintons, Bill Barr, Bob Mueller. Whether or not they testify remains to be seen. Okay. I get it. It's like, well, what if they just plead the fifth? Well, it's their constitutional right to plead the fifth. There's nothing you can do about it. We don't want to override the Constitution, right? We don't want to, we don't want to trample on people's rights, especially our right to keep ourselves from incriminating ourselves. But here you go. October 9th, Hillary Clinton. October 14th, Bill Clinton. Former U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland. October 2nd, former FBI Director James Comey. October 7th, former U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr. August 18th. That's, in 12 days. Former U.S. Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, August 26th. Former U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, I recuse myself, August 28th. Former FBI Director Bob Mueller, September 2nd. Former U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, September 9th. Former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, September 30th. These are subpoenas that have been issued by the House, I think, Judiciary Chair, or House Oversight Chair, James Comer. Yes, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer. All right, let me talk to you about our friends over here at tryarmor.com/LFA TV. Folks, I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity, my gut health, my metabolism. That's what Armor Colostrum can do for you. And then some. Go to tryarmor.com/LFA-TV. Colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life. Contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive, but we stop getting it after we're little babies. We got to keep getting that colostrum. It can help reactivate your hair growth, help your skin glow, help fortify your gut health, ignite your metabolism. It can help your fitness performance. It can help your recovery. It can do all of that for you, and you can get 15% off of your first order at tryarmor.com/LFA-TV. That is tryarmor.com/LFA-TV for 15% off. tryarmor.com/LFA-TV. tryarmor.com/Lima Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor. tryarmor.com/LFA-TV. Okay. We've got all that. I want to give you this update now from the great state of Indiana. A new Alligator Alcatraz type facility is getting ready to open in Indiana. So this is the second state that's doing this. Not long after the debut of Florida's Alligator Alcatraz, Kristi Noem indicated that other states had expressed interest in creating their own. It is going to be Indiana, and it is going to be called the Speedway Slammer.
Oh, stop. That's cool.
The Speedway Slammer. Department of Homeland Security says it'll be in Indiana. It will expand ICE detention capacity by 1,000 beds and will house some of the worst criminal aliens, and will be in partnership with Indiana Governor Mike Braun. Today we are announcing a new partnership with the state of Indiana to expand detention bed space by 1,000 beds, thanks to Governor Braun for his partnership to help remove the worst of the worst from our country. Speedway Slammer coming to Indiana. We love it. Obviously, Indiana, one of the racing capitals of the world. I'm not going to be able to put the map on your screen today because we are out of time, but maybe tomorrow we will do a full-blown weather update. I'm still waiting on consistency from the models anyway. But there is a potential Gulf hurricane lurking in the final week of August. As of August 20th, it would be entering the Gulf of America. So keep that in mind. And we'll dive more into that tomorrow towards the end of the show and look at what the models are showing us. Jeremy Harrell is coming up next on LFA TV for the next 3 hours right here. Rumble.com/LFA TV. Also on X at LFA TV US. While Jeremy is queuing up his entry and all of that, head over to LFATV.com. His intro, LFATV.US, LFATV.US. Click on that store tab. You can see the shirt that got a lot of compliments at the ARC. The I Don't Really Care Margaret shirt. It is amazing. JD Vance and his chipmunk cheeks. We love it. LFATV.US or JeremyHarrell.com/store. Jeremy is on the way right now. As President Trump would say, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never, ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are off to Michael Patrick Leahy, the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, the Tennessee bonus hour for the next, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Time, right here on X. If you're on X, at Michael P. Leahy. Follow him. I'll be reposting it once we get there. We'll be on there for the hour, and I'm apparently going to be joined by the mayor of Rutherford County, our county, so it'll be nice to meet him. And I may have to ask him why there's algae in the water. We'll see what happens. Don't go anywhere. Jeremy Harrell up next for the next 3 hours. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. In the words of John Fetterman, bang gavel. Good night, everybody. Have a happy Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you for your attention to this matter.